FYF Sportsman, it's Lamont. We back here. Free agency summary video. Free agency. Most of the major names are getting signed. You got a few sprinkle of guys out there that are finishing up some deals. We kind of know how free agency is going to be rounding out. Most of the most impactful players have been signed away. We're here to discuss those moves today. Primarily one move that surprised us all. Before we get started today, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell to the video if you haven't done so already. All right, we're grinding to 20K. This has been a really special month for FYF Sports. November's coming to a close, but November has been our best month so far on YouTube. Best month so far on YouTube. Over a million views total for the channel. The growth is crazy. I definitely want to give a big congratulations, man. We actually pulled off something epic yesterday. On Saturday night, we started a live stream up. I normally like to keep my live streams going for about 1-2 hours, sometimes 3, but people kept coming into the chat. The numbers consistently growed and stayed consistent. Guys kept coming in with more interesting takes, great basketball talk. And I'm talking about we continued, we kept going. Next thing I know, we ended up having a 9-hour chat. And it's not just a 9-hour chat where the conversation, dulled off, the panel dwindled down to 1 or 2 people. No, we consistently had 9-10 people in the panel chopping it up about real basketball takes. The craziest thing, I've never seen this before, but you primarily go 9 hours and you're not talking about LeBron James. I'm talking about, that's real basketball talk right there. When you can go 9 hours and you guys are really talking about real basketball topics. I'm talking about from Kobe Bryant to free agency to what these teams are doing to the behind the scenes, what's real, what's fake. I'm talking about so many new people were jumping in, people I hadn't seen in the panel before. So salute to everybody that hadn't been on the panel before. Salute to everybody that eventually that were new subscribers. I think in that 9-hour stream, I think we gained over 150 subscribers. So that's growth right there. What that tells me right there is that you guys are, especially you subscribers, you guys are not just liking the video, but you're also hitting that share button. You're sharing it on social media. Again, we can see every time you guys share the videos. We see when you share the content. And I'm talking about for a 9-hour stream to gain 150 subscribers just over that 9-hour period. That was epic right there. So, big salute to the chat, man. The chat stayed strong. Nobody fell asleep on the panel. Like I said, the panel was very consistent. Got, like I said, new people. We even had H-Town come in. H-Town came in and was actually giving real basketball takes. He wasn't snapping on people. He wasn't going crazy. Goat Mike came in, dropped some knowledge on us. True to King as usual. Just Shay came in. It was epic. So everybody who jumped into that particular stream, make sure you guys are subscribed. Make sure you guys come back when we go live. I think we might try to do that every Saturday. I think we might have a Saturday grind session where we just grind it out for about 8 hours. And if we can keep that up, that could be something that's here to stay, because I didn't know you guys love talking sports that much. And again, I like hearing from new people, because I just don't want to hear myself talk about the game of basketball all the time. I want to hear your perspectives as well. All right. So when we got people coming into the chat, we got guys talking about why they feel Steph Curry is the GOAT of all time. And then not just saying that, but backing it up with realistic facts that really can suggest or make you sit back and think he might have a case. Again, we got to respect everybody's opinion. I don't want everybody coming in with the same exact opinion. I don't want everybody saying the same thing over and over. I'm not here to convince you that Michael Jordan is the GOAT. I want to hear why you don't think he's the GOAT. I want to hear the opposing opinion, and we can talk about that. I want to hear why Bill Russell's not the GOAT. I want to hear why Kareem is the GOAT. All right. That's what I like to see right there. Everybody coming in with a unique opinion on life, on sports, on football, on basketball, on free agency. Everybody coming in with a unique perspective. And again, it's your perspective. We didn't have anybody coming in acting like they had any insider information, talking NBA players. Everybody just came in with their own facts, all right, with their own takes, and it was a great chat. And the best thing, like I say, aside from the fact that we were able to stay away from getting on that LeBron James topic where you have to argue about LeBron James for hours and hours on end, aside from the fact they were able to avoid that, I mean, it stayed very civil. We didn't have people cussing nobody out. I mean, people were allowed to voice their opinion in turn. So again, if you guys want to hear some of the best sports talk on YouTube, right? The best sports talk on YouTube, make sure you come to FYF Sports. If you're new to FYF Sports, and you haven't been to our live streams, make sure you like and hit that subscribe and notification bell, because when we go live, I'm talking about, it's some epic conversations that you guys don't want to miss. So salute to the chat for that 9 hour stream. 9 hours. That's absolutely amazing right there. I've never been a part of something like that. Normally I would have shut it down, but you guys, man, every time I looked in, y'all were supporting, y'all were liking, y'all were donating. Man, I appreciate all of that. That just motivates me to continuously do something like that. So if it's something that y'all want to keep consistently going, let me know in the comments right now. I mean, we can continue to have those Saturday grind. Now, that's not something, we're not going to be doing that every day of the week. No. We can't do no 8-hour live streams every day. But again, if we want to make there's one day out of the week where we just go hard and we can really chop it up on almost every topic. All right, we know we got people who work the late night shifts. They come home, they want to chop it up about basketball. We giving everybody their opportunity to get on this platform and voice their opinion about whatever. It can be anything. And that's what I loved about that chat yesterday, man. Everybody came in and voiced their opinion. So again, salute to FYF Sports subscribers for stepping up big time in a 9-hour live stream. But today we got free agency news. I want to, what we're gonna do is first we're gonna send it over to a clip here. We're gonna break down some of the clip is just gonna explain some of the most immediate and impactful signings in free agency. If you guys haven't been up to date with some of those signings, so we're gonna get straight over to this video right here. We're gonna allow them to break down some of the most impactful signings. When they come back, we're gonna talk about most of the major signings, who won, who lost, and how we feel that these players may or may not impact these teams. But like I said before, there's one specific signing that I really want to dive into. Because it was the most curious signing. And although I don't necessarily agree with the dollars and the cents, I see why it makes sense. But let's go ahead and get over here to the free agent signings, at least the most impactful ones of the 2020 free agency.
Says strange things. Nobody placed a bigger bet on himself during the NBA free agency period than Gordon Hayward. Declined a $34 million option with the Celtics. Agrees with the Hornets on a deal worth $120 million over 4 years. Carry on, my Hayward son. With Hayward wayward, Boston filled its roster with point guard Jeff Teague and big man Tristan Thompson, who they hope can work the boards. Last Celtic to average 10 rebounds in a season was Al Jefferson, 06-07. Rajon Rondo was a rookie on that team. Now he's a two-time champion and an Atlanta Hawk. 2-year deal for a club that needed to get Trae Young some backcourt help. The Clippers agreed to a deal with Serge Ibaka to fill the gap left by the new Laker Montrezl Harrell. Ibaka averaged a career-high 15-plus points per game last season. Oh, there's no place like home, even if Toronto may not be able to play at home. Fred VanVleet agrees to a 4-year, $85 million deal, largest contract signed by an undrafted player in NBA history. And Carmelo Anthony, smelling roses, again agrees to re-sign with the Trailblazers. 1-year minimum deal. Portland needs scores, and Anthony can score the basketball. Adrian Wojnarowski's phone does not have an off button, and we're all better because of it. All right, NBA, how does the Gordon Hayward deal go down with Charlotte?
Neil, in 2014, Gordon Hayward was playing with you.
All right, and there we have it right there. Just kind of a breakdown of some of the most impactful signings thus far. I like what I'm seeing. The primary thing, again, is teams are going for it. Teams are trying to, improve their roster significantly to make a push for the playoffs. Being mediocre is no longer status quo. You cannot be mediocre in this day and age any longer. You cannot be mediocre because players have figured it out. With these 1-and-1 deals, with these players willing to give up supermax money and actually leave when free agency hits. I mean, these front offices don't got time to play around and just be mediocre for years and years on end, like we saw in the past, like we saw in the 90s. This is what stifled competition in the 90s. Teams were not really motivated to get better over a short period of time. They were not motivated to actually go make moves in free agency. We saw, in the past, we saw a lot of teams stand pat for years and years on end with the same roster, not making any major improvements. And because the best players were willing to stay on one team, they were not compelled to do anything. What these teams were doing in the past was they would capitalize off these players being in these cities for 9, 10, 15 years for the majority of the prime in their career. Some of these players, when you're talking to Karl Malone, John Stocktons, and these guys would take teams deep into the playoffs. All right. You know how much income that brings, even if you don't win a championship, you know how much money that brings to a franchise just by making the playoffs and going on deep playoff runs? Owners and front offices can get complacent with that mindset. And I like the fact that players are putting teams on notice now that you can no longer have that mindset. All right, so you guys just saw some of the free agency signings. I think the Carmelo Anthony deal was kind of intriguing. There were rumors out there that he could have went to the Knicks. I didn't hear anything about the Knicks actually offering him a deal. Maybe Carmelo's representatives reached out to the Knicks about potentially making something like that happen. Again, I don't see the Knicks going in that direction, especially with a guy like Carmelo. I think that would be a very lateral move. It wouldn't really do much for the young guys over there to put another ball-dominant mid-range scorer in that lineup. It doesn't really teach those young guys much. So stand with Portland for Carmelo. I think that was his most ideal situation, although it's just kind of surprising that he took a minimum deal. Maybe that's all that was on the table for him. I didn't hear or sense that a lot of teams were really going after Carmelo with a lot of vigor. We look at Joe Harris. Joe Harris, man, bigger contract than I expected. Joe Harris, 4 years, $75 million to stay with the Nets. Danilo Gallinari, 3 years, $61 million to the Hawks. Now the Hawks did say, being mediocre is no longer our objective. We are looking to get into the playoffs, and all you have to do is get there. We saw what the Miami Heat did last year. Just by getting into the playoffs, anything can happen. So I like that the Hawks are really trying to build around Trae Young and not just be complacent with Trae Young and John Collins. Goran Dragic, obviously a 2-year, $37 million deal with the Heat. He earned that. Even though he's a bit older, he played like he was 29 or 30. He did not look like he did not play his age. Davis Bertans, surprising deal for me. 5 years, $80 million. That's a lot of money for a Davis Bertans. But what teams have showed us is that shooting is at a premium right now. If you can shoot the ball, you can get paid. If you can't shoot the ball, well, that's going to suffer. Your pay is going to suffer. So, again, shot makers got paid. Jeremy Grant, a guy who's improved his three-point shot drastically. He said he wants an enhanced role in the offense. It's one of the reasons why he wanted to leave Denver. We know that they run a dominant pick-and-roll offense that's dominated by Jamal Murray and Jokic running that pick-and-roll over and over. Everybody else is supplemental, catch-and-shoot players. He didn't want to go back to that, even though Denver could have offered him the same money. Montrezl Harrell, 2 years, $19 million. Again, guys who cannot shoot the ball at an elite level, we see their money suffer in this free agency. I think Montrezl Harrell got what he deserved. Marcus Morris, a surprising deal to stay with the Clips. Obviously, with their cap situation, we knew they would have to overpay to keep guys. 4 years, $64 million. Serge Ibaka, 2 years, $19 million. Essentially the same deal that Montrezl Harrell got. I like it. I mean, I don't know why the Clippers wouldn't have offered the same deal to Montrezl Harrell just to keep him around. A lot of odd stories from other YouTube channels about Montrezl Harrell. I don't think it stems from fact. I think it just stems from wanting to blame LeBron for something. So again, there's a lot of stuff floating around about Montrezl Harrell that's not factual. Again, make sure you guys be aware of fake news. Know it when you hear it. Caldwell Pope, 3 years, $40 million with the Lakers. I don't love it, but he Clutch Sports will get you paid. DeAnthony Melton, underrated guard, re-signs with Memphis. Paul Millsap, 1 year, $10 million. Kind of high for a guy that underperformed, but Paul Millsap still has value. Malik Beasley, a guy that with some criminal charges pending. I'm surprised that he was still able to get 4 years, $60 million. So hopefully he can get those criminal charges addressed. Obviously, with the team doing an investigation into it, they must not see much there. So it didn't hinder them. It did not hinder them from signing him to a long-term deal. We got Tristan Thompson, one of the more impactful signings. Tristan Thompson to the Boston Celtics. That fills up that center position for them. They needed that drastically. They needed that center position filled. And you're talking about a guy who can defend on 3 levels. He can defend the 5, 4, or the 3 position. He can guard the pick and roll. You don't have to sub him in and out, defense for offense. He's an extremely efficient scorer right at the rim. I like that. Great offensive rebounder. That's a great pickup. That's a great pickup for the Boston Celtics. I'm really curious to see how that works out for them. Jay Crowder to the Suns. I love that. They needed another wing defender, especially a veteran wing who can also switch to the 2 at times. He can also switch to the 2 at times. Or if they want to go small ball, maybe you put Crowder at the 3 and you're putting guys like Mikal Bridges at the 4. I don't know, but Crowder's a great pickup. Great 3 and D guy. Justin Holiday signed. Derek Favors back to the Utah Jazz. Kent Bazemore to the Warriors. I like that signing as well. We seen what he can do, and when he gets a viable role on the team. I think these last couple of years he's been battling injuries, and he's just been kind of stuck on some teams going nowhere. Dario Saric, restricted free agent, still with the Suns. He's kind of disgruntled with his role here with the Suns. I think he's looking to get out of here. Potential sign and trade out could happen. I think they're just waiting on the right deal. Jordan Clarkson got his money. Wesley Matthews to the Lakers. Rondo to the Hawks. That's big right there. Again, another guard who can show Trae Young how it's done. I like that move. Rodney Hood stays with the Blazers. 2 years, $21 million. A lot of money for a guy that's coming off an Achilles tear. But you got to do what you got to do, man, with your Portland. Portland, I think next to the Knicks, they've made some of the worst signings yet. They haven't really signed anybody impactful. They really haven't improved that roster. As a matter of fact, I think our roster's gotten worse since all of this has started. JaMychal Green to Denver. Elfrid Payton back to the Knicks on a 1-year deal. Jeff Green to the Nets. I like TJ Augustine to the Bucks. For me, that's a big move right there. You're talking about a veteran, experienced guard who can come off your bench now. He no longer has to start, but you got DJ Augustine, a guy who started in Orlando for years. Now you got him coming off your bench. If anybody goes down with injury, you can rely on this man to start. Great signing by the Bucks right there. Avery Bradley to the Heat. Wow, that's tough right there. You're talking about a stout defensive lineup. Trey Burke earned that deal with the Mavs. He played great in the bubble. I love that he got a 3-year deal to stay with the Mavs. He absolutely earned that. And so I think it's been a lot of great moves. All right, so I think it's been a lot of great moves in this free agency. A lot of things that a lot of teams are building for the future. A lot of teams are putting themselves in position to be contenders. But as I said before, one of the most striking signings, one of the most alarming signings was Gordon Hayward to the Hornets. Gordon Hayward to the Hornets. That's not a surprising move that he went to the Hornets. It was the price tag that came with it. 4 years, $120 million. That's essentially max money for a guy that's been often injured and really hasn't played like the Gordon Hayward that we saw in Utah. Now, maybe Michael Jordan sees something that could reinvigorate his game. We know that he's going to be playing with LaMelo Ball, Devontae Graham. I mean, that's a solid core backcourt right there. So you got a solid backcourt right there. You still got some young guys on that team. You got Cody Zeller. Again, I would have liked to see Cody Zeller get moved, maybe bring in some more unique talent. But I like what Charlotte's doing. I like what Charlotte's doing. again, I think you have to take a leap of faith and make some moves now. They did waive Nicholas Batum. Batum had 1 year remaining. They probably amnestied his contract out, and he's probably going to find himself on a minimum deal with another team this year. But I'm just so curious about how this went down. Again, I can't blame Jordan for actually going for it. I think they're looking to really make a playoff push. The one thing we saw is as soon as they drafted LaMelo, ticket sales quadrupled. So the value of that team has now grown just by having LaMelo. So I think they're doing everything to capitalize on this presence. You don't want to continue to have a losing franchise when you bring in a guy like LaMelo Ball. You want to put pieces around him, right? So that they have the best opportunity to excel and succeed on the court. But we're going to go to another clip. I want to hear what Adrian Wojnarowski has to say about how this actually went down and what the Charlotte Hornets were thinking when they made this move. So again, I think it was a move they had to make. And I've been a big proponent of sometimes you just got to go out there and overpay to bring somebody in. One thing it does is it shows other free agents that, look, if you can play, we're willing to pay you. All right. And it shows the guys on the roster that. So now you got guys on the roster that's saying, look, maybe I can get my payday if I show up and do what I need to do. So when you do that with one guy, it has a long-lasting effects in free agency and on your roster for years to come. So I like what Jordan is doing. Hopefully it has those same long-term effects across everybody else. Let's get over here to Adrian Wojnarowski. Let's see what he has to say about this Gordon Hayward signing to the Hornets.
Wojnarowski's phone does not have an off button, and we're all better because of it. All right, NBA, how does the Gordon Hayward deal go down with Charlotte?
Neil, in 2014, Gordon Hayward was playing with Utah. He was a restricted free agent. Michael Jordan and the Charlotte Hornets signed him to an offer sheet. Now, Utah matched it. But Gordon Hayward, his agent, Mark Bartelstein, remembered the effort that Charlotte made to try to get him back east then. Well, they were able to pull it off this time. He had talked with a number of teams about sign and trade scenarios, including his hometown Indiana Pacers. But Charlotte was able to create the salary cap space, $30 million a year, to sign Hayward to, as we reported, a 4-year, $120 million deal. He wants to have the chance again to be more of a player who's going to impact his team. His role diminished as time went on with the injuries, the emergence of Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown in that Celtic front court.
All right, so when Boston knows, hey, Hayward's not coming back, where does their focus turn?
Well, they got a commitment today from Tristan Thompson, free agent center from Cleveland, who they had talked on and off again about trading for a number of years. But, listen, to get the money off of their cap with Gordon Hayward this year certainly allows them some flexibility to do some things. While it was nice to have Hayward at $30 million a year, it didn't exactly financially balance out their roster to have that much money all tied into one position on the team.
All right, Rondo's got a couple rings, one with the Celtics, one with the Lakers. Now he's a Hawk. What's he bring to Atlanta?
Yeah, he goes.
All right, so there we have it right there. Just a little insider glimpse into how that Gordon Hayward situation panned out. Just like he said right there, a number of teams interested. Gordon Hayward and his agent were allowed to go out and seek out some potential sign and trades. It wasn't a secret that he wanted to potentially get that sign and trade done with Indiana. That's where he's from. That's his hometown. That's where his family stays. They just couldn't get it done. And once the Charlotte Hornets were able to create enough cap space to dead all of those sign and trade talks and say, look, we got $120 million for you, $30 million a year. I think that was a deal he just couldn't pass up on, man. He's getting close to that second. He's getting close to the tail end of his career where things are going to be on the downslide. You have to look to lock in that long-term money because again, he's not going to get another paycheck like this. And for him, just like Al Horford, to secure another max deal, I like the move. It works for both teams because both parties are going to benefit from this. The Hornets benefit from having a veteran player who can actually lead. He's not selfish, and Gordon Hayward obviously benefits from getting the contract that he desired. And this is what I mean by teams. A lot of these teams cannot be scared. The Knicks The Knicks have been scared to spend money. The Knicks have been scared to throw money at guys to say, look, take this 2-year $40 million deal. Take this deal and come over here. They haven't went out there and spent any money. And so this is one of the reasons why you see teams like the Knicks stay perennially bad. You give Elfrid Payton 1 year, $5 million. You know, why not throw 2 years? Why not throw 2 years, $50 million at Chris Paul? Maybe if you throw something like that at Chris Paul, maybe you can work that trade to New York. But you got to put something out there to make players say, hey, I got to consider that with the money involved. The Knicks signed Nerlens Noel 1 year for Nerlens Noel. I mean, Nerlens Noel. You had guys like Serge Ibaka out there, Hassan Whiteside out there. Get guys out there that can come in and make an instant impact. Nerlens Noel has been a 8th or 9th man on your bench for the last couple of years, but you bring him in. I mean, he's going to be a solid backup. He's going to be a solid backup to Mitchell Robinson, but geez, I mean, can't you do better than that? I mean, Alec Burke again. You're signing backups, Knicks. Why are we bringing backup guards in? All right, why are we bringing in Alec Burke? He's been a backup his whole career. You're probably going to thrust him into the starting lineup. He's not going to help you win games. He's not going to help RJ Barrett get better. He's not going to help. He's not going to help Mitchell Robinson get better. He's not going to help Obi Toppin get better. Come on, man, Knicks. Come on, Knicks. These moves are just pathetic. You give up Bobby Portis. You give up Bobby Portis for nothing when you probably could have renegotiated a deal with Bobby Portis. The Bucks only gave him 2 years, $7.5 million. So he's only making $3 million a year. The Knicks, you couldn't have done that to bring a guy back that actually played well for you. All right, you got Damian Dotson, who's an unrestricted free agent. You haven't even looked at him. He's actually been pretty solid for you these last couple years. So again, man, the teams that stay bad. The teams that stay bad are the teams that are scared to spend money. Teams that stay bad are teams that are scared to touch that luxury tax, take those risks. All right, you're going to see what Golden State did. You're going to see that pay off for them this year. All right, the Lakers deep into the luxury tax. You're going to see it pay off. Clippers into that luxury tax. It's going to pay off, especially if they start allowing fans back in these stadiums and we have playoff games with stadiums at 50, 60% capacity. Again, you just gotta be smarter, man. But I really like this offseason. I really like what these players are doing. Players are taking control. Because of the players are taking control, it's making the teams take control and do their jobs as well. So when you got everybody doing their job, that just makes for a better NBA game overall. So you guys, let me know what you think in the comments. There's the live stream going right now. What do you think about what's going on? Who won free agency? I want y'all to tell me in the chat. I want you to run through all of these teams. Tell me who won free agency. What teams came out ahead? I think it was the Bucks. I think the Bucks and Sixers, and the Warriors won free agency. Oh, the Lakers also. You got to throw them in there for the moves that they made. All right, but these teams are also consistently good, and they're consistently willing to spend money to make things happen. But I would say the number one team overall has to be the Philadelphia 76ers. Finding a way to shed Al Horford's contract, crazy right there. Bringing in an elite shooter, bringing in 2 elite shooters to bolster that roster, crazy right there. So I think the Sixers have accomplished the most. It doesn't, on paper, it's not going to show that much, but that salary cap, the impact on that salary cap relief, that can do a lot, especially when you got a Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid on your roster. So I don't think the Sixers are done making moves. We may see some more moves before the trade line. We may not. But either way, I think they're the winners. You also got to look at the New Orleans Pelicans, man. They're on my honorable mention. Bringing in a guy like Bledsoe, trading Jrue Holiday, getting max value for him. I'm seeing pictures of Zion. Looks like he's getting back in shape. You still got Brandon Ingram. You still got to sign him, but those deals are probably going to get done by Thanksgiving or a little after. So I appreciate what these teams are doing. I like the moves. I like the Hawks, man. I cannot wait for this NBA season to start. But you guys, again, let me know what you think about free agency. All you got to do to get another entry into the drawing for the $100 cash app is name your top 5 teams in the chat. Name your top 5 teams in the chat. Who you think won free agency 1 through 5. You need to put them in order. 1 through 5. I'm gonna select a couple of your list, and I'm gonna discuss them in one of my future videos. But I need you to put a letter grade to each some of these teams. Let me know who you think won free agency 1 through 5, because I'm really curious to get your guys' opinions on some of these moves. And again, do your research, man. Let's not just name the obvious ones. Do your research. Look at salary caps. Look at how teams were able to, go into the luxury tax to spend to get players, or maybe even shed contracts to open up salary. Who do you think won? All right, but it's FYF Sports. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell to the video if you haven't done so already. We are grinding to 16K. All right, man. I love how this channel is growing, man. The subscriber base is going crazy. And the one thing I got to give you guys a big round of applause for is the positivity, man. When you're on YouTube, when you're on social media, it's so easy. It's so easy to constantly see toxic, negative comments. But I'm not even gonna lie, y'all. I'm going through the comments, man. I'm going through the live streams. It's been nothing but positivity, man. It's been nothing but positivity and good vibes. I'm not joking right there. And again, I expect it. I don't block anybody out my chat. I don't censor what you guys got to say. All right. Obviously in the live streams, if you come onto the panel, obviously we try to keep the language PG-13. I don't want people going at each other, calling each other out their names over basketball. But then things can get intense and words are thrown around. But for the most part, man, it's been positive. It's been respectful. Man, it's been insightful. Guys are coming with great information. We got to give a big salute. We got to give big salute to Taj Mason, man. This guy constantly is hitting me with the updates on the trades. Even before I see him, even during the live streams, he's constantly on the job, man. So, hey, Taj Mason, man, keep it up, man. Because again, when we come back from this week break, when we're taking a break from lives, man, we might have a special segment for you on the show, man. We might have to put together a special segment for Taj Mason, man, because this guy's putting in work. We might just have to add him to the FYF Sports roster. I want you guys to let me know what you think about that as well in the comments, man. All right, that's another entry into the $100 Cash App giveaway. Let me know what y'all think. Should I give Taj Mason his own segment? I need to give him a weekly segment on FYF Sports, man, because he's the Adrian Wojnarowski of FYF Sports, man. The man he's coming with the news, he's coming with the facts, and we got to reward people who show up like that, man. So you guys, let me know in the comments, what should I do with Taj, man? I think we got to give him his own segment. I think he's deserved it. If he's willing to partner up with us, hey, we would love to have you. But Taj, you don't have time to make a decision. You don't have time to make a decision because FYF Sports is growing. Now, Taj, don't come asking for a job when we get to 200,000 subscribers. Because then we really gonna have to critique your resumes. You better hop on the train now. And when we blow up, you also gonna blow up with us. Hey, but it's FYF Sports, man. It's been a great podcast video. Again, love all the appreciation and support. The growth for the channel is going crazy. We're gonna continue to keep it going. Hey, it was FYF Sports, man. Another great podcast video.